Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the FX DRS Tactical, and this is in the 700mm barrel sniper format. And there are a lot of options available on this rifle, so the first thing you need to do is have a look at the FX website. I'll put a link in the description. Sportsman Gun Centre supply these in the UK because you can go through all the different options and variables. Number one, it comes without the back end on it. Now, the buffer tube and the back end here, the buttstock, are separate components. You need to buy those and choose them for any AR-15 compatible factor. They screw in, you've got the castle there, locks them in position. So essentially, forget that part back there. It does come with its own AR-15 compatible grip, which is a nice rubberized unit. It's ambidextrous, a good palm swell on it. And frankly, I think that's probably about the grip I'd want to use anyway. I'm very happy with that. Anyway, let's look from front to back. Number one, you can have it in 500, 600 or 7mm barrel variants, and of course you've got this long AR-15 style forend to completely surround the barrel, and in this case, with it being DRS, this is also the air cylinder. Now on this rifle, that's 310 cc's and it's a 230 bar fill. You can actually have it in carbon fibre, which allows you to go up to a higher fill pressure as well, give you a few more shots. But especially in this FAC format, 25 caliber version, you're looking at about 50-55 shots per fill. But of course, with it being set up at the factory and tuned at the factory, it's not got all the extra additional tuning features on it, which can get a lot of people actually in a bit of a pickle. So I actually quite like the DRS for coming supplied as FX think it should be used. And this one is shooting the FX 34 grain 25 caliber pellet at 884 feet per second, which gives it 59.3 foot-pounds of energy, which is pretty satisfactory for an FAC, I would say, hunting oriented air rifle. Now it's got the superior heavy liner on the barrel, so you can shoot slugs with it if you want to, and the magazine will fit those as well. But it kind of says that it's more tuned for pellets, and I have to say it does shoot very well with the 25 cal FX pellets, so I was quite happy to use those in the review. Now of course the forend makes sure the barrel is completely free floating, you've nothing touching it, nothing in contact, and the DRS system, as I've said before on multiple other FX air rifle reviews, does seem to give you a much stiffer barrel, which is the foundation of accuracy. It's got a full length Picatinny rail on top, that's excellent. Scope mounting's easy. You'll probably need high scope mounts for it because of course with it being a flat top you need space for the objective and ocular bodies to clear the rail completely. It has a full-length Arca Swiss rail on the underside here for a bipod, and that is one of the delights of this rifle because I've got this tier 1 bipod on which fits the Arca rail, and I could get this rifle so unbelievably stable with a rear bag under the back end because you've got that long sort of wheelbase to give you that longitudinal stability, which is great for elevation control. And of course the bipods with the wider leg stance also give you that greater lateral stability too, and anti-cant rocking capability. There's a pressure gauge on the side, shows you your fill pressure because you can use that off your bottle as well. Usually the bigger manometers on bottles are a little bit more accurate. I filled to 230 bar, I suggested, and got 52 shots per fill. I was very happy with that. It's a 12 shot magazine in the 25 caliber, so essentially I just shot 3 magazines and filled up just to make sure I wasn't going beyond 36, and that made me very happy. I could have gone to an extra magazine if I needed to. On one occasion I did. There was no significant point of impact shift at 50 meters, but it was just a tiny little bit less consistent because at peak performance it was giving me only a 12 foot per second extreme spread. So that plenum there is all part of the gas system, which has been well explained by FX before. Gives you the sort of bleed through the regulators, AMP2 regulator in this. It's got a 2-stage trigger on it. This one broke at 350 grams. I'm very happy using that, but it is all adjustable and accessible through the bottom here. You can get a really good feel on that trigger. It's very, very intimate in use because especially at the lightweights, finger pressure is very delicate on it, but you get exactly precise shot release, which helps get the accuracy out of the gun. Of course, AR-15 stocks and buffer tubes are available in all sorts of different formats. This is actually a Smith & Wesson one that Sportsman Gun Centre supplied me with the rifle, and because it's got adjustable length of pull on here, what it ends up for you for the overall length of the rifle will be exactly how you want it. But from the tip of the barrel here to the back of the buffer tube start point is 378mm, which is 35 inches as a basic starting rifle. And then you're going to add maybe another 10 inches to that, 250mm to that with your buffer tube for your build, whichever suits you. Of course, a lot of AR-15 buffer tube back ends have got adjustable length of pull on them as well, so it gives you a very versatile rifle. Overall weight, again, without the buffer tube, is 2.7 kilograms, which is 6 pounds. It's not too heavy, actually. It makes the rifle quite comfortable to carry, but it is long, remember. I think most of the users in the UK are going to go with the sub 12 foot-pound version anyway, and the 500mm barrel on this, which is going to be approximately there, is going to be a super compact unit, and it's going to have great neutral balance for actually shooting in prone positions and also from varied hunting positions, because you're still going to have this length of the forend on the front to add your bipod as you want it. And of course with the Arca mounting, or you can use M-lock mounting as well, you're going to have a massive choice of bipods to suit exactly what you need. I think the 3 calibers available in 177, 22 and 25 are well suited to a sub 12 foot-pound air rifle, but I would definitely in the FAC look at the 22 and 25 calibers. Sometimes I think going above the 25 caliber into the 30 and 35 calibers, it's a bit of a dreamy fantasy, because although they do work well and you get a lot more energy from them because of the master projectile, they use a massive amount of air. Also, tuning can be quite frustrating because you're always refilling, and you get a bit hot and steamy under the collar thinking, I'm using so much air, I'm using so much air, and okay, you do then start to need thinking about compressors that are actually connected all the time, making sure you carry a big bottle with you as well. It can be a bit of a fantasy to think a 35 cal air rifle, and even a 30 is actually more applicable to general hunting needs in the UK than a centerfire rifle. The 25 caliber and the 22 caliber FAC air rifles are though utterly superb for ratting and pest control, and especially shorter range rabbit control when you're around horses, things like that, because the noise is a lot less. You can add a moderator to this. I didn't have a 25 caliber moderator for it, but something like the Donny FL units will go on there fine. You add those and it'll drop a lot of noise. A couple of weeks ago I did actually use a 30 caliber Leopard, and that was developing just about 95 foot-pounds as opposed to the 60 here. It was significantly louder, and therefore I did want the air defenders with that. I didn't find the need to wear the air defenders with this one. It was noisy, but it wasn't painfully noisy. But I would definitely say a moderator will really drop that muzzle report down and make it better for hunting needs. Of course, with M-lock and Arca, you can add sling mounts at the front if you want to use that. Depending on what type of buttstock you put on the rear end, you'll also get a sling fitting there. This Smith & Wesson one happens to have a sling fitting on it, but that again is down to the furniture you choose to add to the basic level sniper specification of the DRS Tactical. The long Picatinny rail, of course, gives you massive versatility of where you will mount your scope, and the gun will suit therefore smaller scopes, larger scopes, and you're never going to have a problem with eye relief because the scope can be mounted further forward if the scope's got long eye relief, or if you're using a smaller night vision scope, something like that with electronic capability and maybe only 55-60mm of eye relief, you can bring it towards the rear of the receiver and you're not having any kind of ergonomic compromise. I'm using this Element Helix scope on here, which has got 100mm of eye relief, and it's one of the most comfortable air rifles I've shot. I'm not normally personally a huge AR-15 fan, but I do like this setup and layout for the rifle, and I have to say I prefer it slightly over the taller buddy bottle designs, which although can offer far greater shot capacity and can be physically shorter, I don't think for precision shooting are quite as stable as a long slender rifle like this, which has got that great wheelbase for stability underneath it. Now, I will put the link on the description for the FX website. It's important you look at all the options available for this DRS Tactical, because with different barrel lengths, different calibers, you get different magazine sizes, different shot counts, different power energy ratings, velocities, things like that. Again, they're not tunable in the same way that some of the other rifles are, but again, I sort of prefer that because I find it works very well out of the box with the recommended ammunition. And if you just want to get out, go shooting and only worry about adding air to it, well, this one ticks that box for me. I do like it. Now, all the magazines are of a similar style, different sizes obviously and different capacity for different pellets, but because it's not the bullpup design with the large magazine on the side here, the magazine fits in the front here, in front of the side lever, slots in the side, and of course it makes the rifle easier to use left or right-handed. The side lever cocking is super smooth, and if you want to decock it, just hold it back, squeeze the trigger and let that go slowly forward, and you're never going to have a problem having to dry fire the weapon or anything like that. It's just not required. The magazine has been perfectly reliable, and because it has the last round hold open facility, if you just turn that there, you can undo, take the top off like that, rotate that anti-clockwise, put your first pellet in just here to jam the rotor, and then refill all of the slots. This is the 2.5 calibers, 12 shots, and once those are all filled, just let it go under its own spring pressure, obviously it's empty here, and then this goes back onto it and you can put it back in the gun. These are now recessed to give you more space for the longer slugs if you do happen to want to use slugs. And as I said, this is the superior smooth twist heavy liner, so it will shoot slugs if you want to do that. But I like pellets, and I found the gun extremely reliable as it was supplied to me with the ammunition that was supplied with it. So I'd say if you don't necessarily know what exactly you do want, well, taking it from FX and how they want to tune it and how they think it works best does seem to make life a lot simpler, because they have tuned this rifle very well, and as you can see on the targets it's shot, it will punch small groups at 50 meters in real world conditions. These are not indoors, these are not tunnel ranges, there was wind present, and you can see how these FX pellets have shot incredibly well in it consistently. The other thing to mention again, with it being the DRS, these barrels will take the odd bump, the odd knock, the odd nudge with a lot more solidity and less possibility of losing zero than some of the other rifles which don't use the DRS system, where this is actually the air tube with the barrel and shroud system inside it, and that compound structure does give you a very, very rigid shooting system.
Rabbit!
Right, well I hope you've enjoyed watching that review. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and click the notification bell and keep track of the regular uploads. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.